You climb on your bike, twist the throttle, and something happens that no therapist's office has ever given you. Your shoulders drop. Your jaw unclenches. The noise in your head just stops, and you've probably never asked why. Most people assume riders are just adrenaline junkies chasing a rush. But there's a hidden psychology behind why two wheels do something a couch and a stranger with a notepad can't. Something rooted in how your nervous system actually processes stress, fear, and identity. This isn't about escaping your problems. It's about your brain running a process most people never trigger in their entire lives. And once you understand what's really happening every time you ride, you'll stop feeling like the reckless one in the room. You'll realize you've been doing something most people are desperately searching for. Stick around, because by the end, you'll understand yourself in a way you never expected. Everyone tells you the safe move is to stay home, sit with your feelings, talk it out, journal it away. Play it careful, play it small. But you already know that path, the couch, the scrolling, the same four walls doesn't heal you. It just mutes you. It keeps the noise quiet without ever removing it. Something in you has always resisted that kind of stillness. And that resistance isn't a flaw, it's information. Here's what's actually happening. Psychologists call it the high sensation-seeking trait, first mapped by psychologist Marvin Zuckerman. It's not recklessness, it's a wiring difference. Your brain's dopamine system requires stronger, more varied physical input to reach the same sense of calm and satisfaction that other people get from sitting still. That's not damage. That's not a disorder to hide. It's a documented personality trait found in roughly 15% of people, and it shows up heavily in pilots, surgeons, firefighters, and yes, riders. You're not broken for needing motion, risk, and sensation to feel regulated. Your nervous system simply demands a higher dose of real-world input before it settles. That's why sitting in a therapist's chair rehashing emotions in words can feel hollow to you, because your regulation doesn't come through language. It comes through movement, and once you see that, the guilt disappears. Think about the first time you rode after a genuinely bad week. Maybe you'd just been laid off, or a relationship had fallen apart, or you were carrying something you couldn't even name yet. You didn't call a friend. You didn't sit down to process it. You put on your jacket, threw your leg over the seat, and rode. Somewhere around the second corner, without deciding to, you stopped thinking about the thing that was breaking you. Not because you buried it, but because your entire nervous system was occupied with something real. The lean angle, the throttle, the road surface under your tires. For those 40 minutes, you weren't avoiding your pain. You were regulating it physically in real time, the way your body was built to. When you got home, the problem was still there, but you were steadier, clearer, able to face it. That wasn't luck. That wasn't distraction. That was your body doing therapy in a language words could never reach. And if that's ever happened to you, you already know exactly what this feels like. The concept behind this is called flow state, first researched by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Flow happens when a task demands just enough focus that your brain can't multitask. It has to fully commit to the present moment. Overthinking steals your present. It drags you into replaying the past or rehearsing the future over and over until your body is present but your mind is somewhere else entirely. Riding takes that away from you in a good way. It physically removes the option to overthink. You cannot worry about a text message while judging a decreasing radius turn at 50 miles per hour. Your visual cortex, your vestibular system, your proprioception, the sense of where your body is in space, all activate at once, and there's no processing bandwidth left for anxiety. This is why riders describe silence in their head that meditation apps promise but rarely deliver. It's sensory, not spiritual. Your hands feel the vibration through the grips. Your core feels the lean. Your ears track the engine note shifting through the gears. Every one of those inputs is pulling your nervous system into now. The exact state trauma therapists spend years trying to teach people to reach through breathing exercises. You've been accessing it since the first time you pulled out of your driveway. That's not a hobby. That's a regulated nervous system in motion. Now here's the part most riding channels won't say out loud. Not everyone who rides has a healthy relationship with it. For some people, the bike stops being regulation and becomes avoidance. It becomes the only place they feel anything, which means the moment they're off it, everything they've been outrunning catches up twice as hard. That's not sensation seeking anymore. That's an avoidance coping mechanism, using speed and risk the same way someone else might use alcohol or overworking, to not feel something specific. The line matters. Riding to regulate your nervous system builds you. Riding to disappear from your life drains you and isolates you from the people who could actually help you carry it. Ask yourself quietly without judgment. After a ride, do you feel more capable of facing your life, or do you just feel like you postponed it one more day? That answer tells you everything. So here's a quick, honest gut check. Healthy riding. You ride, you feel clear, you go home and actually deal with your life. Unhealthy riding. You ride to avoid a conversation, a decision, or a feeling you refuse to sit with, and you feel worse the moment the engine shuts off. Ask yourself, do you ride toward clarity or away from a problem waiting for you at home? Do you feel more present afterward or more numb? The bike itself was never the issue. It's neutral. What determines whether it's building you or draining you is the reason you swung your leg over it in the first place. There's another layer to this most people completely overlook: your body's relationship with vibration and rhythm. Engine vibration, wind resistance, the repetitive mechanical rhythm of shifting gears. These aren't just background sensations. They function as a form of somatic regulation, a grounding process where rhythmic physical input calms an overactive nervous system, similar to how rocking calms an infant or how a steady heartbeat calms someone in your arms. Your body has been running its own regulation therapy through 70 decibels of exhaust note, and you never gave it credit. Think about a rider you know, maybe your uncle, maybe a buddy from your local group, who rides every single Sunday, rain or shine, no matter what's going on in his life. Not because he's escaping his wife or his job, because that ride is the 1 hour a week his body fully exhales. He comes back calmer, more patient, easier to talk to. His family has learned that ride isn't selfish. It's what keeps him regulated enough to be present for the other 6 days. That's not a coincidence. That's a nervous system that found its own therapy years before he ever needed a name for it. That kind of ride does something deeper than calm you down. It changes how you see yourself. Psychologists call this self-concept clarity, how clearly you understand your own values, personality, and identity, separate from what other people expect from you. On a bike alone at speed, there is no audience, no boss watching, no social feed judging, no role to perform. It's just you, the machine, and the decisions only you are responsible for. That kind of unfiltered experience is directly linked in research to lower anxiety, sharper decision-making under pressure, and greater life satisfaction. Because you're not managing an image, you're just existing as yourself. There's nobody to impress at 6 a.m. on an empty back road. No performance, no persona, no version of you curated for approval. What's left is the real one, the version of you that exists before the world tells you who to be. And that's the version writing keeps handing back to you, mile after mile, whether you've noticed it or not. So go back to that moment, the throttle twist, the dropped shoulders, the sudden quiet in your head. That wasn't random. That was your high sensation-seeking wiring finally getting the input it needed. That was flow state shutting off the overthinking loop no meditation app could touch. That was somatic regulation working through vibration and rhythm instead of words. And that was self-concept clarity handing you back the version of yourself that exists without an audience. You were never avoiding therapy every time you rode. In the healthy version of this, you were running a form of regulation therapists spend years trying to teach people through breathing exercises and journaling, except your body already knew the way there. You don't need to explain your riding to anyone who's never felt their own mind go quiet at 60 miles an hour. You're not reckless, and you're not running from anything. You're regulating something most people never learn how to touch. Every ride where you come home clearer, steadier, and more yourself is proof your nervous system found its own path back to calm, long before you had language for it. That's not luck. That's not an excuse. That's a documented psychological process happening every single time you throw your leg over that seat. So the next time someone questions why you ride instead of just talking about it, you'll know exactly what to tell them. You've been doing the work the entire time. If this explains something about yourself you never had words for, drop a comment and tell us. What's the one ride that cleared your head when nothing else could? We read every single one, and your story might be exactly what another rider needs to see today. Hit subscribe if this hit home.